Welcome to English with Limonada. In today's video, we are going to learn what is prosody and why it's so important to learn this thing. So many people don't know about it, so stick to it. So what are we going to learn today? Today, we will learn what is prosody, the important and less important words in a sentence, how to stress words to give meaning to what you say, tools to achieve natural flow and pace. So, first of all, we need to understand how many languages are being spoken currently. So, you're not gonna believe me, but currently there are more than 7,000 languages that are currently being spoken. But what happened with this? This is divided in two. We have stress time languages and syllable time language. So, what are the differences between these two sections? If we take syllable time languages, are languages like Spanish. For example, all the syllables has the exact same amount of time. So all the words have the exact same amount of time per syllable. But if we take stress time languages like English, English is a stress time language. So it means that we put we make emphasis in the syllables that we want to make more important and less important within that sentence. Okay, in this section we are going to learn or put in practice, in other words, how can we work in this? If we see this, 1, 2, 3, 4. In the first one, we see 1, 2, 3, 4. But what happened in the second sentence? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. As we can see here, we added the and. But what happened in the next one? We add 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. And then in the next one, 1 and then a 2 and then a 3 and then a 4. Wow. So prosody here plays a crucial role. So we are going to learn how to use prosody to say this even faster. So we need to reduce the less important words. 1, 2, 3, 4. How do we reduce the and or end? We say 1 and a 2 and a 3 and 4. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. The next one, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. 1 and a 2, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. Notice we are done saying 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. We are saying 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. In the next one, 1 and then a 2 and then a 3, and then a 4. So if we want to use the last sentence with prosody, we want to use prosody in the sentence. We don't say 1 and then a 2 and then a 3 and then a 4. We say in this way: 1 and then a 2 and then a 3 and then a 4. Andena, 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 andena. Andena, ndena, ndena, ndena. And a 2 and a 3 and a 4. N, N, and a 4. So this, with practice, we can learn why native speakers speak in that way. Your results. You can be easily understood. Understanding conversation easier. Sound more natural and less robotic. Your confidence will increase. Sorry for that. I have been like lately sick. Your confidence will increase. So, if we want to learn what prosody is, we need to understand this. If language were a work of art, then speech sounds will be the colors, and prosody will be the forms, lines, shapes, spaces, and textures. If language were music, then speech sounds will be the notes and prosody will be the rhythm, pitch, harmony, and volume. If language were a board of game, then speech sounds will be the players. The speech sounds will be the players, and prosody will be the tactics, timing, teamwork, flow of the game, etc. So, what is prosody? Prosody is the ability, because prosody is an ability to play with speech sounds so they are not always on the same tone. They are not repetitive, and we change the rhythm. So it is an ability that we need to train. It's like speaking in English. We need to train this ability. Remember, to stress a word, your voice must go higher, louder, and longer. To stress a word. For example, if we say, John wants tea. John wants tea. John wants tea. We are making emphasis. In the first one, we are making emphasis in John. In the second one, we are making emphasis in wants. Who wants? And in the third ones, we are making emphasis in the tea itself. Okay, I know. I really know. In English, we can divide every single word into two groups. We have content words, which are the ones that we usually stress, And we have function words, the ones that we don't stress. I know this can be sounds a little bit complicated, but let me explain you in an easy way. We have content words. So content words are the words like the crucial words. As it says here, it's like a dish, but without the condiments, the content words. For example, we have the nouns, the verbs, the adjective, and the adverbs. So those are all the things that we can say: big, small, red, wrong, right, dream, house, country, animals, and so on. But, you know, if we say big red house, the the sentence will be like missing something. So that's why we add the function words. The function words connect the information. These are all the condiments that add flavor to the dish. Because just imagine if you are cooking a chicken and you don't put any salt, you don't put any condiment. It's just a chicken. How do you prepare a chicken? Imagine if you don't put anything, the chicken will be simple now. It will taste like nothing. So, what are the function words? Because they are articles like a, and the, or the. They are conjunctions like and, for, but. They are prepositions of, on, in. They are modals, means modal verbs: can, will, should. They are pronouns: he, she, and it. And they are auxiliary verbs: am, is, have, were. Which this is the verb to be, auxiliary verbs. Well, that's another class. For today's video, we are learning like function words, content words, what is prosody, how to know how to stress the words, what are the difference between express time language and syllable time language. So we need to learn to identify. Can you find the content and function words? So to find the content word, so Ash lived England 10 years. Ash lived England 10 years. If we read that without the function word, because the function words, these here are the function word: has, in, for, which are the less important. Because imagine if you read this sentence without the function word: Ash lived England 10 years. It will sound weird now. Yes, it will sound weird. Now, function words, content words: going, fly, Spain, week. These are the content words: going, fly, Spain, week. But with the function word, we put here: he is going to fly to Spain next week. Now that we are like a little bit understanding what are content words and function words and why they cannot live without together and why they are so important living together, In the next one, I, Panama, but leave Canada now. I, Panama, leave Canada now. It sounds weird now. But what's happening here? If I add I am from Panama, but I live in Canada now. Yes, we can see here. Ash lived England 10 years. He's going to fly to Spain next week. Panama leave Canada now. Okay, practice. Stress the words involved. We need to stress. In the car. In the car. In the car. Text me. Text me. Work on it. Work on it. If we are like noticing the tone, work on it. Work on it. So, more than one function word. What is the focus word? She studied English in Canada last year. When we have more than one connected word, we usually stress the final content word. When we have more than one content word, we usually stress the final content word. She studied English in Canada last year. Function words. So, let me put you a few tips and tricks when how to pronounce some function words and how can we reduce them into a schwa. For example, the ta before a consonant, it can sound ta, ta, but before a vowel, it's fully pronounced tu, to go, to watch, to study. If we notice in the first one, if we notice here in the first one, if we notice here in the first one, to enjoy, to understand, to influence, we can notice that before a consonant we say ta, ta, but before a vowel we say to go, to watch, to study. But if we say like before a vowel we say to enjoy, oh, to enjoy, to understand, to influence. Notice? It's like quite of difference. And now, we have for. How do we reduce this function word? For. For. We say fair, fair, like a schwa, fair. Connect to the next word. It's for work. It's for work. This is for a cake. For a cake. This gift is For my daughter. For my daughter. For us. For you. For school. For. Fair. Fair. For work. For work. The next one. At. Before a consonant, hold the T. She's at my house. She's at my house. Before or within a vowel, the T becomes a light D or flap D in unstressed syllable. For example, in the first one here, if we can see here, we see like the T, we can hold the T. What means we maintain the T. She's at my house. She's at my house. She's at my house. She's at my house. But what happened in the next one? If the T is between two vowels, like we see here, two vowel sounds, the T becomes unstressed. And we make it like flap D or flap T, it's called. Usually for Spanish speakers, it's called the flap R, because it's similar than the R in Spanish, but it's not the same. So, the meeting is at a hotel. The meeting is at a hotel, at a hotel, at a hotel, at a hotel. If we don't use the flap R, we will say at a hotel. But now that we are using the flap R, we say at a hotel, at a hotel, at a hotel. Let's meet at a park, at a park, at a park. And you're probably gonna say, hey, but why here we don't have the T if the T is a consonant? Yes. We need to understand that when we are an unstressed syllable and the T is followed by another T, we can use the flap D or T, known as flap R. At a park. Let's meet at a park. At a park. At a park. This is usually used in fast spoken English. And then the next one, and or and. When we do pronounce and or and, drop the D and only pronounce it We only pronounce the consonant T in coffee. T and a coffee. Tea in a coffee. Tea in coffee. Tea in coffee. Cats and dogs. Cats and dogs. Cats and dogs. It's like removing these two and we only say milk and sugar. Milk and sugar. Milk and sugar. Milk and sugar. Now I know it probably sounds like a little bit difficult for you right now to say it, but this with practice we can make it. So this is a little bit conversation like Margaret, and they forced me to eat this clammy warm creamy salad thing, which was, hey, why aren't you taking notes? Andrew, I'm sorry, were you not in that room? Margaret, what? The thing you said about being promoted. Genius, genius. He completely fell for it. Andrew, I was serious. I am looking at 250,000 fine and 5 years in jail. That changes things. Margaret, promote you to editor? No, No way! Ha, Andrew. Then I quit and you screw. Bye bye bye, Margaret. So this thing is, it's like a practice that if whenever I am doing like personal coach, we put like this together here and we practice. Which one of these words do you want to emphasize? For example, I emphasize here, no way, promote you to an editor? No way! It's like giving a life to the sentence in expression and emotions. So, this is the recap. Everything that we have learned today. So, first of all, we have learned what is prosody. Prosody is the ability to play with speech sounds. So they are not always on the same tone. They are not repetitive and we change the rhythm. Also, prosody refers to the patterns of the rhythm, intonation, and stress in speech that convey meaning and emotion beyond the literal interpretation of the words being spoken. Using your full prosody power will make you a more engaging speaker who gets their message across confidently and naturally. English is a timed language. Vowel reduction, rhythm. And then we also learn about the content words that we have, like what are content words? They are crucial words for meaning. So every content word has a meaning itself. They can stand alone. So it is like a dish but without the condiments. So we have the nouns, the verbs, the adjective, and the adverbs. So that's why it's so important to know about the content words and the function words. But what's happened next? We have the function words, and we have a lot of function words. These are all the condiments that add flavors, and their primary work is to connect information. So the play of the function words is to connect the information, are like the connectors. We have the articles, the conjunctions, the preposition, the modal verbs, the pronouns, and the auxiliary verbs, which helps the verbs. We learned that in the verb to be. Well, these are the references from this masterclass. I am always so grateful for, for Hadar. She is my coach, and I have learned everything that I know thanks to her. And this is another video recommendation about this masterclass. So I hope everything has been very well to you, and thank you very much for watching English with Limonada. See you in the next one.